Hello everybody, this is Mario. I hope you're having a great day. I am having a really nice one, thank you. Another day, another dollar. Today I'm going to be talking about how I found God early on in life. This is a true story. So, people have trials and tribulations in their lives. Good things, bad things happen. And look, bad things happen. And you gotta look at how to move on from this. Now, I was born and raised a Christian. I went to church. I was an altar boy. I sang songs. I praised the Lord. I was born to be, I had confirmation. I was born to be a Christian. At some point, when I was a teenager, I kind of grew out of it. I'm not saying that maybe I lost my way. Not growing out of it, but I think I lost my way. With religion, I stopped going to church, things like that. I started turning away. I didn't really, I don't know, I just stopped believing at that point. But strange thing happened. One time, I don't know, when I was 15 or 16, I went on a trip with my cousin and a couple of family members. And they had this big ass pool, and all the kids went to go play in it. And then on the other side of the pool was an even bigger pool, and this pool was about 22 to 25 feet deep, and you could dive in there. There's a diving board, bang, you can dive in there and splash all around and be all good. Me, I was 15 years old. Well, decent swimmer, kinda, but not that good. My cousin was there, and I was swimming in the shallow end of the pool, and I kind of wanted to show off that I knew how to swim better than him. But he was awesome. He was a great swimmer. And I wanted to show off that I could be just as good as him. So, I don't know. We weren't allowed to go into the big pool. That was for adults, really. So I decided to dive into the big one. I got out of the pool and he looked at me, and I'm like, I'm going to the big pool. I walked over to it and I walked off the diving board, and I was waiting to see if he's watching me, because I wanted him to see that I could actually swim as good as him, maybe better. And I was talking to these girls too, that I'm like, I could swim. I'll show you something awesome. Yeah, I wanted to show off and everything. So I went on a diving board, and I thought everyone's looking at me, and I'm like raising my hands, and I dove from the diving board into the water. Now, when I dove into the diving board, this was a pool that was about 22 to 25 feet deep. When I dove from the diving board, I didn't realize that there's a ladder next to the board. Somebody put a ladder next to the board there. When I dove in, my left foot hit the ladder, and the tip of it and my foot got tangled up, and I went straight down into the water, all the way down, and I injured my foot, and I was writhing in pain, and I remember sinking all the way down. And I couldn't really swim back up. because my foot was messed up. There was blood on the tip, and I knew I messed up big time there. And I don't know, but I think, I don't know if anybody was watching me or not, but I remember thinking all the way down to that pool, and I was down there for at least 40 seconds, looking up, wondering, is this it right here? Is this where I'm gonna be? I couldn't swim back up because I was holding my leg and it was bleeding. I had to try to stop the bleeding, and just a bunch of shit going down, freaking out, starting to really panic, starting to really go crazy. I remember to breathe a little bit, but I couldn't. I had to hold my breath, holding my breath. And I'm looking up, I'm thinking, oh fuck, this is gonna be it, man. If I don't try to do something. I tried to swim back up. I could get halfway, but then I went back down. Like, God, this is it. So I looked up and I saw the sunlight reflecting off the water, and I started talking to God. I said, God, I'm sorry, and I hope that you can forgive me for everything that I've done, and I'm sorry I didn't believe in you. And I started praying because I don't think I was gonna get out of this. I was thinking I was almost out of breath and I'm gonna drown probably. I was panic ridden. I closed my eyes and I started praying to the Lord to try to hear me out so I could safely go to heaven. Well, I opened my eyes and I looked and I saw something, and I saw a big splash out of the water ripples, and I looked up and it's my cousin, and he's looking down at me, and he comes down to me and he's shaking me and shit, and I'm like this, and I'm pointing at my leg, and my leg is freaking gushing blood, and he's like, oh shit, okay. So he went underneath my legs, he put my legs on his shoulders, and then squatted down, and then he thrusted me up from the bottom, all the way from the bottom of the pool, all the way to the top, using his body as a lift, all the way up to the top. I went up to the top, splashed, got some air, then went back down. Then he did it again. He went underneath my legs, put my legs on his shoulders, went straight up. And the second time it went up, and I turned around and looked at the stupid ladder, and I grabbed the damn ladder. And then I was out of breath, man. I was like freaking out. I don't know what else happened after that. I think I passed out for 10 or 15 seconds. I don't know. I woke up. I was laying down on the concrete. They're all tapping me, pushing my stomach. I don't know what happened after that, but I know my foot was hurting like hell. And well, my cousin saved my life, and I think it was because of the prayer that I said to God. Hopefully, and thankfully, very, very thankful for all of that. And that pretty much restored my faith in the Lord. Pretty much, when something crazy like that happens, you got something watching over you. You have a real life moment right there. And it was as real as it could get. It was freaky, and it was crazy. So if you had any cool real life experiences near death like I did, drop a comment, say hello, say what's up. And I'd like to hear from you. Nobody writes on my pages anymore. Nobody really cares, I don't think. But if you do, hey, I'll be happy to say hello. I hope that this video finds you well, and until we meet again, this is Mario saying sayonara. Praise the Lord.